Whoever she is destroyed your hammer like a piece of glass.
Kneel before your queen.
You don't stand a chance.
I'm putting together a team. It's me, you, Valkyrie, and the big guy.
No team, only Hulk.
What's the matter with you? You're embarrassing me. I told them we were friends.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Okay,
Good, great.
great. Here we go.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Badger Nerdworks Presents We Watched a Movie. I'm Brandon, this is Finn.
Hey everybody.
Hey, we just watched Thor Ragnarok. Awesome brand new Marvel movie. Finn, thoughts?
Like I was telling you earlier, I have only seen 2 of the 3 of these, and it's not the first one and this one. I've seen the second one and this one. I've never actually seen the Kenneth Branagh original first one. I need to get around to seeing it, but I'm certainly familiar with it. I've seen enough clips and things from it to be, to kind of know its style. And
Ironically, I don't think the first one you need a ton of information from.
Yeah.
I think the second one plays into this real heavy, because it picks up right away where the second one leaves off.
Right.
With, for a spoiler, Loki's taken over the throne, and he now runs Asgard.
Right,
and
as Odin, appearing as Odin.
They start off right at the beginning, they're like, let's just deal with that.
Right.
And in like the first 10 minutes you deal with Thor doing epic, awesome,
To
otherworldly
get back
Thor
to
shit.
and kind of win the day and get Loki to admit that it's not me, I'm not Odin.
And they just get right through that, because that was
Yeah.
a huge glaring thing. Like, oh my god, is that what this movie
Right,
is
are
going
they
to be
how are
about?
they going to conclude that? And
This movie is really fast in that way. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, all the way through this film,
Right.
just like, we're going to hit a point
things
and we're
are
going to move
and
on.
then things are concluded very quickly soon after. Once they've reached whatever they're trying to talk about and whatever, they're like, okay, situation, problem.
I think the best
solution.
example of that is the Doctor Strange jump in and
Yeah.
jump out that happens early on in this
Yeah.
movie, and it's fantastic.
So glad you mentioned that. I almost forgot about him. With everything else that is in this movie, you almost forget that Dr. Stephen Strange, as played very well by Benedict Arnold Cumberbatch,
very well.
He plays it
That's appropriate.
fantastic. I know that's such a small thing to be excited about, but I love the yellow gloves, and I love that he had the yellow gloves on in this, and his suit and his costume and everything looks like he walked out of the comic book pages.
I think this is a more accomplished Doctor Strange, and I think I agree with you. He looks like the one that we see as the completed Doctor Strange, and his power level in this movie is completely immediately evident.
Yeah, no, he's obviously the Sorcerer
He's ascended.
Supreme now.
Yes. He's spent his time well. Yeah, it's almost crazy how strong he was. But it's cool because he jumps in and he jumps out, and he delivers
exactly
just enough
information.
And extra help to just move the story along. Because
Yeah.
this is a story of desperation on Thor's behalf. The entire movie, Thor is desperate. Even
Right.
in the first moments, we see him kind of enacting his initial plan to get information, and it's to make himself a prisoner. So he can get interrogated by the evil guy he needs to get the answers from. Thor winds up in bad position after bad position.
It feels like a buddy film, or at least half of the film feels like a buddy film. The first half of the film is obviously bad stuff is happening in my home by Thor's older sister, Helena,
The goddess of death.
Yeah, the goddess of death.
That's the best way.
Played very well and very sexily by Kate Blanchett. Holy cow, she's just hot and evil and sneering and leering at the camera the whole time and just chewing the scenery. I loved her, absolutely loved her in this movie. She's excellent. She's a great comic book villain. And then the second half of the movie is a buddy movie of Thor trying to get back from this weird planet that he ends up on, because he gets knocked off the Rainbow Bridge on his way back to Asgard.
He can't even get back. One of the things I thought Marvel did brilliantly in this movie that makes it such a good movie is that they weren't scared of moving things along. There are massive world-changing events right and left in this movie. And they don't go back back. They don't like they don't cop out at the end and re-edit it to be like it's not terrible.
If you want to say it, you could say that like this movie is going to be the touchstone of the lead up and the road to Infinity War. She's the goddess of death. Thanos is fascinated by death.
Yeah, it's meter, and you're like,
reader, and you know about Thanos. He is huge,
and it's cool because inside of this movie, you get why that. Because once again, they didn't shy away from that character, the goddess of death.
Yeah.
They really tore into how she was deeply entwined into Asgard's history. You see how like someone who had seen her from a side would be in awe of her power.
Right. Her whole imprisonment gives him that in to be able to go, hey, I'll give you the opportunity to get vengeance on all of those sons of bitches that wronged you, you know, and that also destroyed your planet, the planet where you draw your strength. Because it's stated multiple times, and that wasn't for nothing, that her strength comes from Asgard. Thor, he gets it at one point, like 3/4 of the way in the movie, it's the second plot point. He goes, wait, I'm not here to stop Ragnarok, I'm here to make it happen.
There's all that heavy but inside of it are awesome Hulk battles, just pure candy all throughout this movie.
And Jeff Goldblum just being weird and it fitting and it being fantastic.
It was perfectly planned at Hulk. I think like that was really what I was looking for in that. I was like that. It's never the whole source material, and Marvel's good at not doing that, not legging down what they're trying to do with all the source material. Because I think even Ragnarok's like a bigger idea, and they had to like somehow cram so much stuff into one movie, and that's why it had to move so fast. But I don't think that you got lost in it. I think we spent just enough time playing games, like like you said, it's a buddy movie between the Thor and the Hulk, and like kind of watching what happened to the Hulk, who's been the winning gladiator. Imagine that he wins
2 years.
Yeah, for 2 years
since the Sokovia incident.
He got sucked on this planet and made into a gladiator, which is one of two fates. They eat you or they make you a gladiator.
Right.
And he's the best. And of course, Thor shows up and like he's freaking Thor.
Right.
So like they're like, oh yeah, he immediately challenges the top guy.
Right.
And of course, it turns out to be the Hulk, and they have like an epic battle, which has, of course, like a major twist at the end.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh yeah, neither of them die. But then they wind up being like kind of roommates too.
Which was perfect. Which was perfect referencing to every single time the Thor and the Hulk have challenged each other in the Marvel comics, and that they've always written it so that it's a draw or a stalemate or whatever.
Right,
and they perfectly did that in this movie of making that nod to that and having their fight end up being sort of stalemate.
Fights beautifully choreographed, they really are. The things that you love about Thor, thousands of years of battle experience, weapon expertise. The Hulk, exactly what you want. Like, oh shit, I keep missing. I get stronger to compensate. And you're like, oh, that's great. Yeah, it's beautifully realized. I was scared it was going to be real kitschy and hokey. And
as much humor as there is, and there's a lot of humor in this movie. I mean, they make a ton of jokes.
Per minute than any other Marvel movie.
I was saying earlier that as far as my list of MCU films, this is in my top 5. And it, like I say, it doesn't feel kitschy. It doesn't feel just...
It doesn't feel forced. These guys have a really good chemistry. It doesn't feel like it's making
fun of the source material. It feels like it's laughing about situations within the source material, if that makes sense. Laughing with it, not at it.
Right, absolutely. It takes itself seriously, but inside of it, it understands the jokes that already exist.
That are already present.
Yeah, and it takes advantage of them. They know their audience. They know the source material. And they found a really clever way to like really bind it together.
And jokes back to earlier films, like the whole sun's going down, big guy, the sun's going down. Would you quit saying that? You know, like that whole joke. That was hilarious. So Black Widow's way of calming the Hulk down and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and a lot of the heavy hitting in terms of the acting, like Chris Hemsworth was just fine, and he's in like basically every shot of this movie. Like it's very Thor-centric. It didn't get like the Hulk movie halfway through.
Thor movie being Thor-centric.
Yeah, I know, but they do a good job of that. They know what their focus is, and they're telling that.
He's a good enough actor to carry it.
I mean, but the side actors they flow in beautifully, and the side cast, Anthony Hopkins, as always, delivering. I love Marvel's use of old Hollywood. I can't say that enough.
Anthony Hopkins for a reason.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it shows. He's able to make these moments that would be kitschy and cliche.
Maybe, 10 minutes?
Yeah, I mean,
and
he's
yet
not
he
much.
Still brings it even in every minute that he's on there, he brings it.
Yeah, and he's been doing that since the first movie.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, he really shows up to the set, and it shows, and we're like, oh, thank goodness we got an Odin that we can, like, be like, oh, that wasn't...
And I love the reactions and the interaction between Tom Hiddleston and Hemsworth in this film, playing Loki and Thor. They really, like, there is that feeling of, I love you, but... You're an idiot, and I understand now that you're just kind of an idiot, and you're just kind of a d-bag, and I'm just gonna have to get used to that.
But I love that. I love that the character growth is such that, like, at a certain point, like, Thor knows Loki. Like, at this point, Thor, like, just sees right through Loki's BS. But a knowledge that comes from, like, brothers, and like once Thor acknowledges Loki's true nature, like, they're able to actually kind of get along better. Yeah. And they do a great job of keeping him a lying, scheming monster. And they didn't...
Even when he's doing very good things. Because he does a lot of good things in this movie. I mean, he genuinely does some very heroic things.
I think their writing was really smart. They didn't give Loki a ton of options. He was really fish out of water. And, like, his skills are, like, manipulation. And he had post and ability. So, like, that had always worked for him. Not so in this movie. Loki trying to, like, skulk in the corners. But that's cool for a liar and a deceiver. Like, in terms of getting to write him, they got to write a very charismatic Loki who was able to, like, socially maneuver in a strange environment where he was not the strongest thing at all.
And as you said, the necessity of his situation forced him to do some of these heroic things. So that in the end, he ends up doing those things because of, well, okay, if I want to survive, if I want to make it through this, if I even want to make it off this planet, or whatever his motivation is at that time, it happens to dovetail nicely with everybody else doing this heroic stuff to get back to Asgard to try to save it.
Well, I dug that the whole... one of the things I love is that not everyone's motivation is in there. That's pretty much solely Thor's motivation. And a big part of this movie is motivating other significantly powerful beings.
I would say Heimdall's and, like, you know, some of the other...
Heimdall, Idris Elba.
And Idris Elba just, again... blows it out of the water.
But running
holy crap.
Running the underground on Asgard.
Yeah.
Standing up against the goddess of death, like, on his kind of his own. It's weird seeing Heimdall just as, like, a dude, because I'm so used to him, like, looking so iconic.
And holding the, see him, like, looking like a ranger. He looked like,
an all-seeing ranger. That's a great, like, if, like, D&D at all, that's totally what that is.
Well, and from Lord of the Rings, you know, he looked like Strider, you know. It was like, oh, it's Strider Heimdall, you know.
And they're fighting the undead, so But it's cool. It doesn't matter. Idris Elba cutting undead in half with, like, a sweet sword, like, you're like, oh, that's amazing.
Well, and going kind of back to what you were saying earlier, I just kind of want to touch on this real quick, you know, as we're kind of coming to the end. It just, what this movie illustrates really well, and I think what, you know, movies like the Dark Knight trilogy and what some of the other Marvel movies and what the better made comic book movies do well is I'm going to take this really good popular storyline that was, that ran in this particular comic, and I'm going to make a movie based around the kernel of that story. Now, it's not going to be exactly that same story, but it's going to have aspects of it, it's going to have the better aspects of it, and I'm also going to add my own stuff as a filmmaker into it. You know, Christopher Nolan did that with all three of the Dark Knight films. You know, Batman Begins has, you know, elements of, you know, 3 or 4 different Batman storylines. You know, Dark Knight, same thing. Dark Knight Rises, same thing. This movie, World War Hulk, Thor's Ragnarok, you know, the aspects of Thor that have gone on throughout the years of the battle for Asgard among, you know, Odin's family and all that.
Yeah,
you know.
I think you're right though that, like, it needs to be a director's vision. Like, it's got to be someone's vision, and it can't be the original work.
Because you can't.
So
well, for one thing, you can't.
So they have to have, like, a degree of ownership.
Well, there's too much continuity there for one thing. I mean, even your youngest, like, continuing, comic book character that's popular right now. Let's take, like, say, for instance, Spawn. Spawn's history is still 25 years old at this point. That's a lot of continuity, man, to try to compress into a 2-hour or an hour and a half movie. You know,
especially if you're going to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, especially if you're going to have fun.
And it doesn't become a beating of, this is the history of the character.
Even if you want, I don't think you could get any faster paced movie than this. I don't think you could push. any more stuff
Yeah, it
into
didn't feel like
and
as
I don't
long as
think
it
you
was,
could.
yeah.
I think it's really difficult to do that in a way that's genuinely fun and pleasing to watch.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I think they were managed to hit like some kind of balance inside that's almost magical. I thought this was going to be a real hard movie for them because it is such knock it out of the park kind of like material.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
And
It just
situations
is.
and-
Yeah. It's just all really cool from beginning
Right.
to end. So you'd think that they would get lazy, but they didn't.
No,
they found
no,
the
not
jokes
at
per
all.
minute.
Not at all.
They found the pacing that yes is kind of brutally fast, but once again, like you're saying, man, like there's so much continuity.
Yeah.
Like, and if you want to cover even half of it and get a good story out that like
And
resonates,
just in the story of this movie alone, there's so much to deal with and so much to talk about and make.
I think
they didn't, and they never, as you said, they never let up. They hit the pedal to the metal from the get-go, and they just kept it going until the end. And at the end of the day, that's all you can get. That's it. That's all you want out of a movie. Well, that is our review of Thor Ragnarok. Go check it out. It is an awesome movie. Like I say, I think in my top 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe for sure. I don't know where it stands.
oh yeah,
on
dude,
the
yeah,
ranking,
Hulk
but-
smash
Yeah,
straight up,
yeah.
yeah, totally.
But definitely
Amazing.
check it out. Until next time, this has been Finn and Brandon, and we have been We Watched a Movie. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching that episode of Badger Nerd Works. We watched a movie. Be sure to check us out again and make sure you like, share, and subscribe for all of our videos. If you want to be notified when our new videos come out, make sure you click that bell icon. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. We'd really like it if you did that. And be sure you check out our other stuff over here to your left. And next time, we'll see you later. Have a good one.
Bye.